Hello, welcome to the PaynePoints of Interest podcast. We want to tell the stories of people, their businesses, and the journey that they are on. Our purpose is to gather a new perspective on starting, growing, and maturing, maintaining businesses of all sizes. So grab that cup of coffee, sit back, and join us as we start this discussion. Hello, everybody. I am your host of the PaynePoints of Interest podcast, Sarah Harbuck. Today, Megan Harbuck is my guest host or co-host. Our lovely Kristen Ellis, she had her baby and she is out on maternity leave. So, Kristen, we wish you well. Our amazing guest is Erinne Lester of Twootie Tarte. And we are so happy to have you here today, Erinne. Thank you so much for taking time out of your schedule to talk with us.
Of course, no problem.
So my daughter has known you for a while via the internet and the con circuit, but why don't you go ahead and give us a little bit of a brief bio of yourself, your business, and kind of how this whole came to be?
Wow, I'm trying to think back to
the very beginning. How long ago
beginning.
was this that you started your business?
So I started or officially started selling stuff at the end of 2013.
Oh wow. Okay.
And it's kind of funny because that summer of 2013, I just started in college. And one of my friends was like, yeah, you love bath products so much and you used to work for Lush Cosmetics. You should really start making your own stuff.
So you used to work for Lush?
Yes.
Okay.
It was just a seasonal job, but it kind of got me interested in bath products. I mean, we got like a awesome discount, so I tried everything.
Right.
And so I got accompanied to the bath world.
Yes. Now, you put an interesting spin on your bath products with the whole kind of nerdy, geeky bent towards, anime or gaming or am I leaving one of the things out? I feel like I am.
I do like pop culture references and memes as well.
Okay.
But yeah, that's the mix, the trifecta.
So you kind of that's sort of the niche that your business has taken, more of a kind of a, I like to call it the geeky nerdy side of things because I am a geek and I am a nerd and I love all that stuff. So it's a term of endearment.
Yes. Oh yeah, definitely.
So you started in 2013 when you were in college, and did you immediately start selling online, or was it only something you did at conventions?
Yes and no, because it took me 6 months to kind of get my recipe worked out, and then finally in December of 2013 I was like, okay, I'm gonna start trying to sell this. I had one person meet me at my university to buy my stuff, and that was like the only sale I had for a while. But then I started up on Etsy to sell online, but I mostly sold at conventions.
So, what was your first convention?
It was SciFicon in Lake Charles, and that must have been in 2014.
That's awesome.
Wow.
Yeah,
okay.
My dad even came and helped me set up. I'd never sold before.
So is selling at the conventions, you get to see people face to face and talk to them. Is that kind of, obviously that gives the customer a more personal experience with you.
Oh, yeah.
Do you enjoy that aspect of it, getting to hear the feedback immediately? Or
Yes, I live for it. I'm a theater person, so I'm very much in the moment. I love being there, talking with them, and them voicing their concerns to me in person is just online's fine, but there's just something different about being able to talk with my fans and really get to know them in person,
connect face
and know
to
what they
face.
need. Yes.
Well, obviously, we live in a very interesting time right now where face-to-face is super hard, and they have canceled basically every one of these anime conventions and what have you. So how has that shifted the focus of your business?
It's funny because I was looking at my sales online compared to last year or years before and this year, and it's just completely different. Everyone has been so kind and supporting us online. every time I restock my shop, we're selling out of stuff, which has never happened before.
Oh, wow.
So,
And am I correct in that you're going viral on TikTok and that has helped
yes,
your business?
You're going viral on
I can,
TikTok. What does
yes,
that mean?
it means that whatever I post is getting shown to thousands of people at a
Yeah,
time.
but like, are you doing some kind of like cutesy? Are you singing along to a song and holding your products? Like, how does that give us a visual of what it looks like?
So I just basically, so I test my products all the time. I test pretty much every batch that I come through, and I take videos of it. I take baths pretty much every day, so I have tons of footage, and I just sit there, record it, and then I go into TikTok. I find whatever song's trending or a song that might match the theme, like Animal Crossing,
Yes.
and then I edit it together. I put like a good hook or a good copy into the text that people will read that may inspire them to comment on it.
Okay.
And just me and my fiance sit there on our phones responding to every single comment we get, and that boosts it within the algorithm.
Gotcha. See, now we've never really had anybody that we've interviewed that really does TikTok
Nope.
super big. So I'm very interested to hear, because like that seems to be the new social media
It
platform
is.
that everybody's sort of like selling on. You know, it used to be
Yep.
Instagram, it used to be Facebook, and then it was Snapchat for a while, or
Yep.
maybe it wasn't. I don't know.
It
And now
was
it
for a
seems to be
moment.
TikTok. So these little videos that people are doing, because like I didn't really know about it until my youngest daughter, who is now 12, she was like, "Mom,
Yeah.
have you heard about TikTok?" And I'm like, "No." So you know you're officially old when your
Yep.
children are telling you about the new like current pop culture stuff. And so
Yep.
I got on there, and it's really addicting to watch these little videos that people
Yes.
post. And they're of all kinds of things, in case our listeners don't know what TikTok is. It's a myriad of things. How-to videos,
Yes.
it could be silly dance videos, it's
Yep.
everything. So that's why I asked you to
really
give us a
is.
visual, because like I there's so many different types of videos
There
on
is.
there. It's like, what's going viral? Is it just you testing the bath products? I mean, to me that's incredible
I
and
know.
awesome.
Well, and
That you can
it's
use that medium to really boost your sales.
exactly. And it's funny because I had not used TikTok at all. I made an account back in January just to see how the app operates, but I didn't post anything shortly after. I got bored of it. And then in March, just after the pandemic hit, one of my friends shared my Froggy Chair bath bomb, and it got over 1 million views.
Whoa,
Our
what?
sales, we would get sales at 4 a.m. And I'm like, this is unheard of. So that was the moment I knew I needed to start posting.
Yes.
And then when we debuted our prototype, not even a finished product, a prototype of the bath bomb with the Animal Crossing amiibo coin on the inside, that blew up. Our whole website was filled with people spamming my custom order form, which was not prepared for
no.
people requesting this bath bomb. So we opened up like pre-orders briefly, and then when we launched it on our website like 2 weeks later, the listing sold out within 3 minutes.
Good
Oh
Lord.
my goodness.
And
Well,
it's
you
thanks
know,
to TikTok.
the timing was perfect for that, because
Mhm.
not only, you know, we were in the middle of kind of a shutdown, the pandemic was growing,
Yep.
and that game released right on
Yep.
the cusp of that, and it just
Right.
blew up and went viral. I mean, you still can't buy, unless you buy a digital copy, you can't find a
Exactly.
copy or even a Nintendo Switch in the store right now.
know.
So
It's crazy.
you got on that gravy train super
Mhm.
early on, thank goodness. And then of course, you know, social media and TikTok helping you kind of
Yes.
blow up even more. That's got to be such a blessing in terms
I'm
of
I'm truly grateful.
you know, because you know you relied on conventions, yes, and
Yep.
going to these different anime conventions and cosplay conventions to kind of generate
Get
your
by.
sales more than
Yep.
your online. So
I had a show every month or 2 shows every month. So it's kind of been a huge 180 to be home for a whole month.
yeah, I would imagine that's a complete switch.
So Erinne, going back to kind of the beginning of how you got started, from what I understand, you lived in the New Orleans area, and now you're living in Austin, Texas.
Yes.
Can you tell us a little bit why you decided to make that shift, and how you thought it would help your business? Because
Yes.
a lot of the businesses that we've talked to so far are based in one place, and they haven't needed to move because your genre of business is so different from pretty much anyone we've talked to. So what was the reasoning for moving before the pandemic began?
It actually happened to be for the business. So in Louisiana, the most notable convention we have is called MechaCon, and it's in the summer, and it's pretty amazing. But that's the only convention I've had true success at, and didn't make me feel frustrated as an artist. So after many years of doing the con circuit and trying out conventions in Texas and Georgia and Florida, I was like, I'd really like to move closer to more conventions that I do have a lot of success at. And then I visited Austin quite frequently, had a lot of good times. My friend actually happened to live in the area, so they helped me like house me, which made it affordable to come out. And oh goodness, sorry.
You're fine.
My voice is still waking up too.
You're okay. Get some coffee.
But yeah, no, I'm doing my slow sips.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I just, after a couple of years of selling in Austin and loving the area, it reminded me of I grew up in California.
Okay.
So it very much reminded me of being in California.
Yes.
Fell in love, and then it took a while because moving during convention season is difficult.
Oh, I'm
So
sure.
my only window to move was January or February, which I think I feel so blessed to have moved the month before the pandemic hit.
Oh, goodness.
So I'm like, all things considered, I'm faring out pretty good.
Yeah,
We're glad to
definitely.
hear that. I mean, I've been purchasing your products for the last 3 years, I would say. And personally, my favorite, as you know, is the whipped sugar scrubs. I use those because they make my legs so silky soft.
Yes.
They really are very nice, by the way. Megan will order, and I'll place. I'll just have her lump something with something I want with it or what have you.
Oh, yeah.
And I will say that is probably definitely one of our favorites in this house.
I
sure.
agree. The scrubs are just like out of this world.
Absolutely. You really are a genius in that way. Mom?
Well, my thing with how you started your business, it sounds like you were relatively young. You were in college.
Yes.
You saw that where you lived wasn't necessarily helping you because you were doing more business in Texas, and you decided to shift.
Yes.
Austin is one of my favorite cities, by the way.
Yes. Oh yeah.
So when you were getting started in your business, you had worked in another bath product industry. Was there any kind of business planning, marketing strategy that you did that you could share with others who might be thinking of doing the same thing, or any tips that you have when it comes to starting a business? Being young and being able to use social media, I'm sure, in a much more effective way than some of us old fogies can do, that we're doing
Yeah,
it,
right.
has helped you tremendously. But are there any other things any other pearls of wisdom that you have for someone in your position?
It's hard to say because it's kind of funny. When I started, I had like just intentions to make stuff. I had no idea what I was going to do business wise. I didn't really think it was going to turn into much. To think that, back in 2013, I was just starting to do it for fun, and now it's what pays me to live. It pays for my apartment,
Yeah.
So I didn't expect it, but the biggest thing is just for those looking to start a business, they have to do something that they absolutely love, 100% willing to do it every day, because businesses, at least for me, it takes up all my free time.
Yeah,
I don't
for
even
sure.
get to play any video games. People are like, yeah, join me on Animal Crossing. I'm like, I've got 100 orders to fulfill. So
we would
I'm gonna
totally
work.
play with you if you did ever jump on, by the way.
Exactly. I'm very rarely online or have the chance to do anything. So businesses, you have to just plan a lot of time. And so many people go to me and they're like, I've only gotten one sale. And I'm like, well, you need to keep working at it. It's not something overnight that you're going to massively, very rarely do people just blow up so quickly. It just takes a lot of hard work and dedication.
Yeah. Well, anybody who's in business for themselves knows that, you're pretty much on 24/7.
Yes.
Whether you're actually doing and working the business or you're thinking about the business.
Yep.
And pretty much everybody we've had on the show has had that same sort of, yep, this is my life, this is what I'm doing. So you like you said, you have to love it.
Yes.
One of the things when you started out, things were slow. You've been
Yes.
building, and obviously now you've got all these orders to fulfill. You've kind of blown up on TikTok. Your website is overloaded with orders. Do you have anyone working for you? Have you considered hiring on some people to help you with some of the more mundane, everyday tasks? What's the next step for you?
So luckily, my loving partner and fiance, he really has been slowly becoming a part of the business.
Okay.
Whenever we first met, we were just dating, and he didn't really do anything. But after I got my 3D printer, I would ask him from time to time to like help make 3D models for our molds. And during convention season, sometimes he would volunteer and come with me and help me sell. So that began it. And now, because of COVID, he actually lost his job. He's a former chemotherapy patient. So he really can't put himself outside because he's at high risk.
Yeah, definitely.
So basically, we worked out a deal where if he works for me, I'm able to cover the whole rent entirely. So he's just working for me right now, and that has made it so much easier to get through all the orders that we've been getting.
Yeah, one of the things that we've anytime we've had anybody consult with us or ask us, what do I do next? Sometimes taking that leap of faith and hiring some extra help so that you can kind of focus on the things that you want to do in the business will help you kind of free up your time a little bit more so that maybe you can do some of these extra things in life rather than work 24/7.
Yes. In fact, we both have days off now. So he gets a day off and then I get a day off.
That's
so
great.
it's kind of amazing.
From what I see on your social media, though, you rarely take those days off, though. You're always working, which I really commend you for.
Well,
Thank
you obviously love your job because
Yes.
you always have a smile on your face whenever I've seen you posting, especially any little behind the scenes videos or anything on your story. You just seems very happy to be doing what you're doing, and I feel like that's an amazing thing because some people, work is work,
Yeah. And
So-
my grandfather, who actually invested in my business whenever I first quit my job to do it full time, he said you have to find something that you absolutely love. Just not many people get the opportunity to go into work and be like, yay, I get to work.
Yeah.
And that's how I feel every day. I love making products. I love doing content creation, making those TikTok videos and keeping up with social media. That's like, I'm so extroverted. I love doing all of that. There are definitely some sides to the businesses I'm not too crazy about, but thankfully Sean has been able to pick up and help in the areas that I'm not too happy to do.
Right. That's usually the key factor there is finding somebody who's good at other things and putting them in that role.
Exactly. So
what would you say would be some of your, over the years, your biggest struggles or obstacles when running your business? I mean, obviously you have all the current events that are happening, but in anything before that, in the earlier days, what was something that was a hurdle to overcome?
I remember struggling a lot because my pay. So it's always the weird thing of running a business and how do you pay yourself. And my dad actually is kind of my unofficial accountant, so he helps. But there was some months where I didn't get paid because whatever I got paid in one month was based off of the work that I did the month before.
Yes.
So working off this really weird, inconsistent schedule of pay made me stressed. Thankfully, I lived with my parents whenever I first started, so it kind of allowed me to get it ironed out before I moved out. And now it's much better, but like I would just accidentally like buy too much ingredients one month and not have enough money to pay myself for the work that I did the month before.
Yeah,
So
I think that's a common thread for a lot of people,
yes.
not paying themselves enough,
Hmm.
or in the early days a lot of people sacrifice their own salary to get the business
Yes.
off the ground and
Oh yeah.
running. So, yeah, that's
I
a
didn't pay myself till 2017.
oh my.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I really I like I said, thankfully I lived with my parents through college, and then I got a part-time job so
Yes.
that I had some money, but
Sure.
most of the time I would not
You were
pay
just
myself.
reinvesting back into the business.
Yes. Oh
Yeah.
yes. And you have to, especially at the beginning, you really have to reinvest and like add that professional edge.
Yeah. Now, you said your grandfather kind of helped you out in the beginning.
Hmm.
Had that not been the case, would this have been something you had gone and gotten like a small personal loan for,
I
or
think so.
yeah,
But I'm really grateful that he extended that because I didn't feel as pressured to pay him back
as
like
quickly?
every
Yeah.
single month because
Yeah.
not every month I made a lot.
Right.
Um, but
And it was probably an
his
interest-free loan. Yes.
yes,
Usually that's
it
what
most
happens
definitely.
with family. They're like, "Okay,
Yeah,
here you go."
exactly. So and he pretty much gave me the money that allowed me to buy my 3D printer.
Oh,
So
nice.
I'm grateful for that because that has given me the professional edge that I need to create unique designs that no one else has.
So you
So,
utilize that to create the little, like the little tokens that go in the bath bombs, or
yes.
maybe elaborate a little bit for us on what you do with a 3D printer for a bath and
Yes.
body luxury business.
So basically, we come up with a concept like, for example, my Bell's Bath Bomb, which is inspired by Animal Crossing, looks like a bag of money.
Yes.
And so we create that whole shape into a 3D model. The 3D printer prints it. Um, then the other machine that I have that I got to buy just a few years later, it basically it's a machine hooked up to a vacuum, and it has a heating plate to it. So you put a piece of plastic on it, let the plastic heat up, and then whenever you're ready, you pull the sheet over the 3D print, and it uses the vacuum to create this airtight seal with the plastic and the 3D print. So it
So
makes a whole cavity from it.
so it
So
makes a mold basically.
Yes,
yeah.
it does. And then that's the shape of the bath bomb. What's even cooler is that we use the same technique, except I have a little gold coin 3D model that we make. I print out a couple of them, make the plastic sheet from that, and then we pour soaps into the small gold coin mold. We pop them out, and then whenever I go to make the bath bombs, I put those little soaps inside the bath bomb.
Oh, cool.
So it's an actual bell bag with a little
With
coin in it.
yes,
That's
with a little
awesome.
coin in it. So and that's like I love that stuff because we're taking something from an actual video game and applying that practicality of it. Like in the game, you can pull out the little coins from it.
Yeah. I like that attention to detail where you
Yes.
use the elements in any kind of game or anime and make them a real life thing that people can use
Yeah,
practically in their
right?
lives, whether it's for a bath or it's for washing your hands, which is super
Yes.
important right now.
Oh yeah.
I have a weird offshoot question. Now that
Yeah.
everybody is all about sanitizing and hand
Mhm.
washing, I'm guessing your soap sales have gone through the roof, or no?
They have. And then it's funny because last summer, when I attended Anime Expo, I did this marketing stunt where I stood outside of the exits of the convention with a sign that said, "Bad hygiene, I will punish you." I gave out free soaps all weekend. And let me tell you, it is not fun going to Los Angeles to sit in a hotel room bagging up soap, but it was worth it because it got my noggin thinking, maybe I should start making sanitizer and having it at my booth at cons because I already used sanitizer between my shifts, especially keeping my hands clean before I eat.
Yes.
So it just kind of got my brain working, but I put it on the back burner because I had tons of other projects that year, and I was going to work on it this year, and then COVID happened, and that really pushed us to start working on our sanitizer line.
Yeah, Okay, cool. And you also use that as gear it towards something game related or
Yes,
anime or pop culture. Good deal.
exactly.
I'm curious. So, where did your love of video games and anime come from? And also, you are extremely passionate about the scents of your products. I mean, you're always
Yes.
talking about how good things smell and like, oh my gosh, you guys are going to love this scent. I think it's perfect for this. Or you'll ask on your Instagram, what scent do you think Marshall from Animal Crossing would smell
Yes.
like? So what are the inspirations for both of those things? Where did that come from in your life?
Well, it's awesome. I would say most of it is attributed to my parents. I love them to death. My both of my parents play video games. So I grew up listening to video games and playing video games and breathing video games. And my mom has had a perfume collection. I grew up with smelling everything. In fact, my mom says that she knew that I was destined to do this because when I was like 4 or 5, I mixed two of her perfumes, and she said it created a super perfume. And she still wears it to this day.
Oh, that's
She'll buy
awesome.
both of them and then mix them together. And I had a love for like good smell things. I have a sensitive nose, so I can really pick up on different fragrance notes, and I know what smells good together after a while. So I have a huge fragrance oil and essential oil library. It's unbelievable how many scents I have to play with.
I've read that some people have a genetic predisposition to having kind of like super olfactory senses, and that put
Yes.
them in a really good position to be in a business like this because they can sort of distinguish smells so much better and
Exactly.
blend them together. I have a
Mhm.
sensitive nose, but I don't know that I have one in that category. It's more of a I can smell something from like a mile away and
Yeah,
be like,
right.
who's smoking? And,
Right?
like looking
Yeah,
around
that
going,
stuff
what's
drives
going
me
on?
nuts.
Which,
So,
Oh,
I mean,
I
on
will
the
smell like a phantom smell sometimes, and I'm like, where is it? And I can find it sometimes.
yeah.
So that brings up a really interesting point about anime conventions. There's kind of
Yes.
a meme in the anime and Comic Con scene where people don't shower or wear deodorant. So
Yep.
is that like, I mean, I think that your business was really necessary in terms
Yes,
of
it is.
helping make some people who forget to shower smell
Yep.
good. So has that been like a big draw? Like, do people like
I believe
actually
so.
like, because you sell deodorant as well, right?
I do.
So have you noticed people at the conventions coming and picking up soap and deodorant, like, oh, I forgot this, or oh man, this
Yes.
smells really good, like that seems like it would be a huge thing for you to do, because there's so rarely ever sellers like you at conventions from my
Yes.
own experience.
No, and that's why I love doing the cons, because there's not many people like my booth that really does it all. I'll see like maybe a bath oriented booth or maybe some soaps, but my booth really has a whole variety to it. And I don't think I've ever in the con scene seen someone else have deodorant available.
Me
So
neither.
I love that I have that available. So many people take pictures. They've even taken videos of my booth just because of the things that we offer. And I actually started a trend of doing self-care panels at the cons that I sell at. And so I think it's funny whenever my panel doesn't get accepted, I'm like, y'all really want to contribute to the con funk?
Yeah, con funk. That's
Yep.
yeah.
I can't believe that's an actual
Nasty.
thing, but
No, it is. It's
But it
crazy.
exists. Yep.
Well, and I'm sure that in 2021 or whenever we are
Mhm.
able to get back to the convention scene and whatnot, I mean, your products are going to be more highly sought after
Yes.
than anything, because you're not necessarily thinking about grabbing a thing of hand sanitizer, but
Right?
when they see your booth and oh my gosh, it's Celeste from Animal Crossing, or
Yep.
oh, it's Kingdom Hearts, like, well, obviously people are gonna pick it up because
Yeah.
coronavirus is still around, we gotta be safe. I think that
Exactly.
you're doing a really great thing.
Thank you.
Which leads me kind of into my next question. Something that you're doing that's very interesting is oh goodness, the packages that you offer from Japan.
Yes.
So can you tell us a little bit about that and how that got started?
So it's a hopefully not a too long of a story, but I think it's fascinating. So I've been obsessed with Japan ever since I was a kid. My
Me
parents
too.
are in the military. So yeah, woo woo. So my parents are in the military, and my dad actually had the opportunity to work in Japan on a cruise ship as the Coast Guard. He brought back some toys, got me fascinated with the culture, and just I wanted to dive in and do everything. Um, and then in 2007, I had the opportunity to go with my family. It's just like a 1 week trip. Well, that taste, I've been trying to achieve going to Japan as much as I possibly can because I love traveling. So I had the opportunity in college to study abroad there, which
Wow.
um, so that
I think
kind of
Megan's
even just
super,
put
super jealous.
Yes, absolutely.
I can
Well,
tell.
I was gonna mention. So actually, you were in Japan. I went to Japan for the first time in 2017, and
Yes.
you were in Japan literally
Yep.
a few weeks before I went. And I think that you had even mentioned that, like, oh my gosh, I was just there.
Like
You were
timing.
you were
Yep.
there in like October for Halloween, and
Yes.
I got there November
In
7th. So
November.
I
Yeah.
think that we like missed each other by just a couple of days.
Just a few days.
And
I know,
no, I
right?
mean you've been pretty regularly the past few
Mhm.
years from what I've seen.
Yes. As of 2017, I've gone every year. And the thing is, when I studied abroad during college, I discovered because my parents are in the military, I have a dependent ID. And there is a military hotel in Tokyo that I have access to that no one else does. Well,
Wow.
exactly. So when I had my ID, it's now expired because I'm no longer a dependent of the military, too old. But then I had access to their post office, which operates the same as the United States Post Office. So I shipped all my stuff home within a week,
Mhm.
super fast and super cheap. And that kind of got me like thinking, oh, maybe I can buy all this stuff and kind of make like a little self-care kit for the holidays. And that's what really kind of kicked it off. And then 2017 was my like trial and error year because I also allowed people to prepay. Like they would dictate to me what they wanted and then what bath products they wanted. And I would buy the stuff in October/November, come home, use the rest of November to make the product and then ship it out in December. So that's kind
Have
of where that stumbled into.
have those been fairly successful?
I would say so. And I love the endless combinations that can come from it because I'll find a couple of pieces for a Pokemon and I'm like, wow, this is really geared towards like shower or bathing, and I just assemble it and put it up online, and some way someone will find that they're like, wow, I really could use this, or I really want to surprise someone for their birthday or just let them know that I love them. So they'll order it and just have it shipped to wherever. And I'm so grateful to have the support because I my dream, honestly, other than obviously selling for my business for the rest of my life, hopefully, my goal is to travel to Japan once a year because I know I can't live there because it's extremely hard to live over there without being a teacher, and I can't bring my business over there, but if my business can send me there every year, then I think my life is pretty amazing. So,
Absolutely. I mean, I'm obviously very jealous of your opportunities, but I think that you're offering something that nobody
no,
else can.
I don't think I've seen, I'm on many groups for artists. I scout a lot of things to make sure that I'm not stepping on anyone else's toes, but no one has offered the thing that I have gone out and done.
For
And every
sure.
year it just gets bigger and better.
I will say I am so jealous at whoever scooped up that Slowpoke
That
Pokemon.
slowpoke.
Oh my
Hmm.
goodness. For the listeners who don't know, my favorite Pokemon is Slowpoke, and Erinne put out one of those baskets that was all Slowpoke themed, and before I could even buy it, somebody else got to it.
Yep.
And that's
It's
I know that you're increasing production. and doing the best you can to get out orders and whatnot. But it's like Sarah said at the beginning of the podcast. As your business grows, do you see yourself getting some kind of a studio to produce in and hiring other people to assist you? My inspiration for this question comes from a YouTube channel called Royalty Soaps.
Yeah.
And she has expanded so much that they do have to have, I think they even have 2 studios where they make the soap. Is that something that you're hoping to accomplish in the future?
Yes. I dream of it. So I kind of have like a plan in my head that if, especially because things have been so well for us online, I've been putting money into my savings, but I'd love to get a house here in Austin in the near future and build my own little studio in my backyard, like makeshift, I'm trying to describe it right, but like not a shed, but like something more well insulated, but like having my own place of business on the property of my house and go from there, hopefully.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, and I imagine that having, a bigger space to produce, you could produce a lot more in one setting, and then obviously you could have the space to hire people to come help you so that you can, come up with more product ideas or start, crafting, new lines to add eventually. Sometimes space and lack of employee can really hinder a business.
It does.
And, since things have blown up for you guys online, thankfully, it sounds like you guys will have the opportunity to do that, hopefully soon.
Hopefully sooner than later.
Right. What would you say, in running your own business these last 7 years, what has it taught you about yourself?
That I never realized how hardworking I was. I guess I just didn't give myself very much credit or didn't apply it. But
or maybe you just hadn't found the right thing.
Yeah, because in high school, my parents didn't think I was going to college. Like, I just had no aspirations. I think I wanted to be a makeup artist, and then like it dropped off, and I had no ambition, no inspiration. And I don't know what happened between high school and college, but I'm grateful that I've been on the path that I've been. But I fully believe I'm one of the hardest working people I've ever met because I sacrifice so much in order to keep my business going. I will do anything to just any order that I get, I try to start on it immediately because I'm grateful for the opportunity to get my products out.
So you surprised yourself with your own, work ethic, huh?
Yes, yeah, definitely. And a lot of people can attest to it. They're like, I work my job and I go home at the end of the day and I get to play Animal Crossing, but you're working nonstop. And I'm like, I know.
Well, when you work for yourself, that is kind of the life. I mean, there's not really a downtime. So, in that way, it can be a negative when you run your own business because you don't really ever, you have to force yourself to take a break and step back and go, I'm not going to answer emails today. Today is my day off, Yep. But when, you're so invested in it emotionally, it's really hard to sometimes take that step back and give yourself that momentary break. And having been in your shoes and knowing what that's like, you run the risk of burnout. So you just have to you have to temper that with some real world like downtime every now and then. And it sounds like those trips to Japan maybe are what kind of refuels you for the next year. Yes. And I think that's amazing because like not everybody operates the same way. You may not need one day off a week. You may just need that one big trip a year that kind of refuels your soul and gets you back to that place. Yeah. So
I just thinking about it, the opportunity to go makes me work insanely hard because I know that there's such a great payoff.
Yeah. Well, and I feel like, there's something to be lost in our society sometimes where people don't realize that hard work will definitely give you some achievements. And if you're motivated to get to those achievements, you're going to do and put in the time to get there. And it just takes, it takes some sacrifice, like you said, and not everybody's willing to do that. So, and not everybody is meant to run their own business and do those kinds of things. And that's okay.
So, it just sucks when you find out the hard way when you've invested all this inventory and you're like, what am I going to do with all of this?
Right. Sometimes, what is it? The mother of I can't get the quote right. It's something about necessity is the mother of invention or something, and it breeds creativity. So
Right.
you gotta do what you gotta do. When as you've run this business, and there's been ups and downs, I'm sure.
Yes. Oh yeah.
What would you say has been like your biggest achievement or success, personally, professionally? What does that look like for you?
There were so many things that it's really, I'm trying to pull it to the front of my head so I can spout it out, but there's just been so many things that's hard to pinpoint it. I know that I got featured on BuzzFeed of all places, and I actually got credited for my Shrek bubble bar. And it was like weird things to get your friends that love Shrek. And I'm honored because I love Shrek, and it's become like a really big meme in the community.
Yeah.
But I live it. I've been a fan of Shrek since I was a kid. I've got many Shrek things. My best friend loves Shrek, so it's kind of a big honor to get recognized for my art, that like people would want to get it because they're like, oh wow, I didn't even know there was a Shrek bath product out in the universe, so that's kind of like a really cool accomplishment.
Yeah.
But back in May, we had our biggest sales record to date, and it, thankfully it was all online, but even doing the con scene, I'd never made that much money before. And that was a huge achievement. I actually printed out our sales record and the graph and framed it.
Oh, wow.
That's precious.
That was kind of like to remind myself that like I never imagined making that much money in 1 month.
It's so inspiring because I know so many people have been struggling during this time, and businesses have been shut down. And
exactly,
you switching to an e-commerce sort of business. I mean, not that you already kind of had that, but you relied on the conventions, and then this happened, and it was like everything's being shut down. We don't know when we're going to do the next convention,
right?
And it's like that switch over. You did it very flawlessly, and to your own credit, and to your success. Thank goodness, because we've seen so many small businesses struggling right now, and it's really heartbreaking because I know that these people have put in a lot of
their life into it.
Pour their life into it. And being able to say that, during one of the worst economic times we've seen in the recent years, you've done so well. And I'm imagining you credit these like viral, being featured on BuzzFeed or Reddit or, having a TikTok video explode. I mean, that really does help.
It helps so much. Because it just really lets people know that we exist.
Yes.
And even if they don't get something today, they may favorite us or follow us on Instagram because we post more consistent updates there.
Yeah.
And that lets them know that, I could order from them at any time.
Well, and that kind of thing you can't really buy. That's you can do advertising the traditional way, but having something blow up online, like that, and putting your name in front of so many people who wouldn't have otherwise seen you is, it's incredible. So that's great. I'm in awe because when Megan was telling me that you guys were doing the most business you've ever done during one of these like really super duper economically hard times, I was like, we got to talk to her. We got to find out what's going on. And I feel like you have a business that not only encapsulates self-care, but also the fun side of our natures, doing video games or animes or, things like that, kind of give us a little bit of a mental break from all the terrible chaos in the world. So,
exactly.
You kind of hit that sweet spot of, taking care of yourself, but also, and smelling good, that's a good thing.
Yes.
But also kind of highlighting these things in our life that make us smile, and we need more of that in the world today. So
I mean, every month I like work really hard to set aside product for people that I love and care about. I send out self-care packages every week to people unexpecting it, because it's so important to remind people that like, hey, you're here. I care about you. Let's get through this. Take a bath, relax. You deserve it.
Yeah. Do you, besides expanding and maybe building your own studio space and hiring some employees, do you have any plans to add any new like things to your product list, like say candles or anything else in the bath line? Like what does the future hold for Twootie Tarte?
It's so all over the place because I've been wanting to do candles, and especially I love car air fresheners. I've wanted to make car air fresheners and wax melts, but because like they borrow, like, I guess, the same fragrance oil but have so much different ingredients that bath products don't use. So it's a huge investment to do candles, for example.
Yeah.
And I'm just afraid that, like, since I have no practice at all, that it may not, it's a shot in the dark whether it's going to get a lot of success. But my other fear is, especially on the candles end, there's a girl from Denton, Texas, who it goes by Otaku Sense, who does nerdy themed candles. So knowing that I was moving it to Texas, I didn't really want to get in the candle space
Gotcha.
because we're bound to run, like, we do the same con circuit.
Sure.
So I didn't really want to take away from that, but there's other things I want to eventually make. But the focus, especially this year, because I discontinued a lot of stuff that I used to make that wasn't as popular.
Gotcha.
I've decided to focus on honing my craft for especially the bath products. The bath bombs has been my priority this year, is just really making top quality bath products.
Yeah, sometimes it's not about quantity and the number of products you
Exactly.
offer, it's the quality of the ones you do have.
Oh,
And
yeah.
that's keeps your
You
overhead lower.
ex-
So,
exactly. So,
I do have a question, Erin.
yeah.
Before we wrap things up, can you talk a little bit about the charity work that you've done?
oh, that's a good question.
Yes. So it all started because I've been a part of many hedgehog groups. I love hedgehogs. It's kind of like what my mascot and what my business looks like in a way. And the Hedgehog Welfare Society was one of the groups I was a part of, and they do some really amazing things in terms of educating people on taking care of hedgehogs, because they became so popular on the internet. People were buying them but not really knowing how to take care of them. So they did like a lot of rehoming services for abandoned hedgehogs. And at cons, I would make these hedgehog shaped soaps and bubble bars, and half of the proceeds would be donated to the Hedgehog Welfare Society. So at the end of every month, I would send in my donation, and it felt so good some months to send so much, where they sent a personal email thanking me. So I did that a lot between the cons. But it's so weird because I would have the item available online whenever I wasn't selling at cons, and people weren't buying it. So it's
Weird.
that exactly that line of item I ended up not making for a while, just because I'm not doing cons for a while. And then as of last month, I started making my Love is Love soap with the rainbow and the trans flag colors, and half of the proceeds go to the Trevor Project.
Okay.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah, so I'm hoping to expand and fine tune the soap. I've already got people requesting different flag colors, and there are more charities that I want to donate to, because especially during this time, I feel so powerless that I can't do anything or make a change in the world. But I feel like my products, if people will support it, I can at least use that money to donate and try and help make a difference there while I'm stuck in my apartment for the next few months.
Well,
Because I would go volunteer, but I can't.
any small help, whether it be monetary or you just going on social media and supporting something, those are
Mhm.
all, I'm sure, greatly appreciated by the recipients of those said charities. And
Yes.
we all do whatever part we can play, and if that is a small monetary donation, or if it's promoting something, I think that's great. And the fact that
Yeah.
you are so willing to help in any of these different causes, speaks to you as a person. So thanks
Yeah.
for being so supportive to all the different communities, the lost animals, and the people who aren't all like the rest of us.
Yep.
Well, why don't you, Erin, tell everybody where they can find you on social media and how they can buy your products?
So I think on every social media platform, it's like just at Twootie Tarte.
You want to spell that for us, just in case
Yes,
people
it's
don't know?
yes, TWOOTIE
Perfect.
And I'm on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. I used to have a Tumblr. I don't really update it anymore. I've got a TikTok, which I'm very, very active on. And we even have our own Discord server.
Oh, wow.
But it's just like because Discord, you have to get that invite. I
Yeah.
have people just reach out to me for that. But yeah, and then on top of that, I've got like a bi-monthly newsletter just to update those that don't really do social media. But
And
yeah,
then you have a website where people can purchase, or do you still sell exclusively on Etsy?
it's actually I don't sell on I have not sold on Etsy in a while.
Okay.
It just the shop kind of just looks like it's on vacation mode to let people know
Yeah.
that I've moved because I had very many struggles towards the end. So that back in I think 2018 was when I made the jump to my own platform. But yeah, it's just twittytart.com.
Okay.
It's so simple and so easy.
Yes, definitely. Well, and if anybody's in the market for some fun bath products that are not your everyday fare, you should
Yes.
give them a follow and a listen and check out their website. Erinne, thanks so much for talking with us today
course.
and taking time
Thanks
out
for
of
having
what
me.
is a very busy schedule, we know, to just give us your experience and share your story. So that's going to wrap us up for today, guys. Thanks everyone for listening. We hope everybody enjoyed today's interview. We want to hear your story, so you should contact us on our social media. Our website is www.paynepoints.com, and you can contact us there or any of the social media platforms and say, hey, we want to be a guest. Again, thanks so much for listening, Erinne. I hope you have a great rest of the week, and we wish you continued success.
Thank you so much.
That's going to wrap us up today, guys. Talk to you later.
Have a great day. Bye.